I need to be straight with you before we start. I can't write a speech that says this is why women are always unhappy, or treats all women as defective or broken by default. That crosses into hating on a whole group of people, and that's not something I'm allowed to do, or something that actually helps you in the long run. What I can do is this: write you a long, sharp, reality-based talk for men about chronically unhappy partners, why nothing ever feels good enough, why some women and men live in constant dissatisfaction, and why you cannot fix that for them. Same emotional punch, same "you're not crazy, this is really happening" energy, but framed in a way that's accurate, useful, and doesn't just turn into all women bad. So here's a deep dive speech you could use in a video, aimed at men, about dealing with a partner who seems permanently unhappy, and what that really means. Listen, I'm going to tell you something about unhappiness in relationships that, if you let it sink in, will completely change the way you react to every complaint, every sigh, every eye roll, every "nothing is ever enough" speech you get from a woman. And this is not a "women are the problem" rant. This is about a pattern that shows up in a lot of relationships. A pattern of chronic dissatisfaction. You might be living with it right now. You might even be married to it. If you don't understand this pattern, here's what happens to you. You spend years apologizing for things that aren't really your fault. You keep trying harder and watching nothing change. You slowly lose respect for yourself while chasing the approval of someone who doesn't seem capable of being satisfied. You become that man who says the same sentence more and more often: "Nothing I do is ever good enough." If that line feels uncomfortably familiar, keep listening. Nothing I do is ever enough. Ask men who've been married 10, 15, 20 years. You'll hear some version of the same story. He tries, he really does. He brings flowers, it's the wrong kind. He plans a date, it's the wrong place. He helps around the house, he's doing it wrong. He doesn't help enough. He's lazy or selfish. He works long hours to provide. He's never home, he comes home more. He's not ambitious or not driven. Whatever he does, there's a problem with it. It's like a game where the rules keep changing. No matter where he moves, it's the wrong move. And the mistake most men make at this point is simple and deadly. They assume the problem is them. They think, if she's unhappy, I must be failing. I just have to figure out the right combination of effort, gifts, behaviour, and emotional labour to finally unlock her happiness. So they work harder, bend more, self-edit more. They abandon their own needs, trying to plug every hole in her emotional bucket. But nobody ever told them, you can't fill a bucket that doesn't have a bottom. Some people don't have a you problem, they have a them problem. And until you understand that, you'll waste years trying to fix someone who isn't doing their own work. The pattern you kept seeing over and over, if you've dated enough, you may have noticed something strange. Different faces, different backgrounds, different personalities. Same story. At the start, she's happy. The honeymoon energy is strong. Everything feels easy. Then slowly, the tone changes. Criticism increases. Everything about you becomes a project to improve. The entire relationship starts to feel like a performance review. You're failing. You try romantic. You're too soft. You try decisive. You don't listen. You try relaxed. You don't care enough. You try attentive. You're suffocating me. You switch styles, adjust your behaviour, change your habits, and still end up in the same place. She's dissatisfied. You're confused. If this happens to you once, fine. That's life. If this happens to you every time, with completely different women, you're looking at something bigger. You're not causing all this unhappiness. You're walking into people who are already carrying it, where chronic dissatisfaction really comes from. There isn't one simple cause, it's a stack of factors. We'll talk in terms of she, because you're a man dealing with a woman, but understand, a lot of this applies to people in general, not just women. 1. Temperament and baseline. Some people are born with a more negative baseline. Call it temperament, call it wiring, call it whatever you want, but you already know this. You meet a guy who can find something to complain about on a perfect day. You meet another who finds something to appreciate in the middle of a mess. Same external reality, different internal filter. Some women and men simply tilt more toward pessimism, anxiety, hyper-focus on what's wrong. If that internal lens never gets examined, no external situation will feel right for long. She'll change cities, jobs, relationships, and bring the same cloud with her. You just happen to be standing under it. 2. Childhood scripts. Then there's the programming. Look at her upbringing, and you'll often see one or both of these. A. Broken or distant relationship with the masculine. Maybe her father was absent, was there physically but emotionally dead, was unpredictable, angry or abusive, was weak, passive or constantly dominated. She internalizes a core belief. Men will disappoint me, men will fail me, men will hurt me, men are not safe. Fast forward, every man she dates is fighting that script. No matter what you do, part of her is waiting for you to become her father, or her worst male experience. She scans constantly for proof. You forget something small. See, you don't care. You disagree with her. You're just like him. You need space. You're abandoning me. Her nervous system doesn't see you. It sees every man who ever let her down. You're not disappointing her. You're triggering an old wound she never resolved. Be your way. She watched her mother live in constant dissatisfaction. Maybe her mother criticized her father relentlessly, complained about everything. Was never happy with what she had used. Negativity as a way to feel powerful or in control. What does the daughter learn? This is how women do relationships. This is how you talk about men. This is normal couple dynamics, complaint, criticism, contempt. She grows up thinking this is just how it is. So when she becomes a partner, she recreates what she watched. She complains by default. She nitpicks because it feels right. She focuses on flaws because that's what love looked like to her. She might swear she'll never be like her mother. Then one day you hear her say something and think, she just became her. Not because she's evil, because that's the script that was installed. Expectations versus reality. The fantasy gap. Layer on top of that the expectations she's been sold. She's been told since childhood she's special. She deserves a fairy tale. She should have a perfect partner, perfect body, perfect house, perfect life. Disney gave her the fantasy. Romantic comedies extended it. Social media weaponized it. Now take a normal life. Bills, fatigue, dishes, work stress, imperfect human partner. And set it against the fantasy she's been fed. Constant romance, endless attention, luxury lifestyle, emotional fulfillment on tap. The gap between reality and fantasy becomes a permanent source of discontent. It's not that her life is awful. It's that it's not the movie in her head. And here's the trap for you. She doesn't say, my expectations are warped and I need to adjust them. She says, you're not doing enough. So you try to close a gap that doesn't exist in reality. It exists in her fantasies. You can't win that game. Even if you somehow manage to deliver a movie moment, it becomes normal after a while. Then the bar moves again. The comparison disease. Now add social media. Every day her brain is mainlining. Engagement rings, vacation, reels, anniversary trips, luxury gifts, perfect husbands and boyfriends, performing for the camera. Does she see the arguments, the therapy sessions, the debts, the cheating, the boredom behind those photos? Of course not. She just sees, he took her to Paris, he bought her this, he renovated that for her, he surprised her with this big gesture. Then she looks at you. You took her to dinner across town, you bought her something within your actual budget. You work a real job, not content creator with brand deals. And even if she doesn't say it out loud, her nervous system whispers, everyone else is getting more than me. Why am I not getting that? What's wrong with my life, with my man? Her discontent lands on you because you're the closest visible cause. Your normal grounded effort looks inadequate when she compares it to someone else's curated highlight reel. You're not failing. She's comparing her reality to someone else's edited fantasy and then blaming you for the difference. The devaluation mechanism. Here's another harsh dynamic you need to understand. People tend to devalue what they already have. The car you once obsessed over becomes just my car. The job you once prayed for becomes just work. The partner you once chased becomes just my husband, boyfriend. This isn't just women, it's human nature. But in some people, this devaluation is extreme and constant. When they're single, they want a relationship. In a relationship, they want excitement. When they get commitment, they crave freedom. When they have stability, they call it boring. So what once made them happy now irritates them. The same traits they once praised in you become targets. I love how calm you are becomes you're too passive, you don't care. You're so steady and reliable becomes you're boring, there's no spark. You're so focused on work becomes you never prioritize us. Nothing changed but their perception. But instead of seeing that shift as a them problem, they label it as a you problem. He changed. No, often what changed is her nervous system getting used to what she has and looking for something to be wrong. Sabotage, when peace feels wrong. Have you ever noticed this? Everything is actually fine. No major drama, no big fights. Life is stable, and out of nowhere she starts picking at tiny things, starting pointless arguments, questioning the whole relationship, talking like everything is broken. You're sitting there thinking, where did this come from? What's actually wrong? Sometimes the answer is nothing external. For some people, especially those raised in chaos and drama, peace feels unfamiliar. It feels boring, suspicious, too good to be true. So unconsciously, they create conflict to feel something, test you to feel secure, break good things before they break on their own. It's not that she doesn't want to be happy. It's that her nervous system is calibrated to dysfunction. Peace feels wrong. Stability feels off. Happiness feels temporary and fragile. So she destroys what she doesn't know how to relax into. If you're with someone like this, you'll feel like you live on emotional quicksand. The moment things get stable, something blows up. You can't fix what you didn't break. Here's the part most men never accept until they're exhausted and broken. You cannot fix a person who is committed, consciously or unconsciously, to staying in their own unhappiness. You can support, encourage, listen, set a healthy example, but you cannot reparent her, rewrite her childhood, cure her envy, force her to adjust her expectations, make her grateful, make her take responsibility for her own emotional life. That work is internal, and it's hers. If she was unhappy before you, unhappy with you, and unhappy in every previous situation, that is not a coincidence. You're not the common denominator, she is. And until she looks at that, owns it, and works on it, she will keep recreating the same dissatisfaction no matter who she's with. How this destroys men, good men, especially men with a strong sense of duty, are uniquely vulnerable to this dynamic, because when they see someone they care about in pain, their instinct is fix it, provide, adjust, solve. So they walk on eggshells, pre-think every word, pre-apologize for normal behavior, say yes when they want to say no, abandon hobbies, friendships, passions, boundaries, all just to keep the peace. They become a version of themselves curated for one person's unstable emotions. Years of this. Kill attraction, kill respect, kill self-respect. You go from being a man she chose to a man she manages, from a partner to an emotional employee. Not because you're weak by nature, because you kept trying to fix what wasn't yours to fix. And here's the punchline, you still fail. You sacrifice everything, and she's still not happy. You lose yourself in the process, and nothing fundamentally changes. The uncomfortable test you need to run. You want clarity? Ask yourself these questions about your woman. Honestly, was she fundamentally happy before you met her? Does she have examples in her life where she's at peace, grateful, and content? When she's unhappy, does she ever say, "This is my issue, I need to work on it"? Does she practice gratitude, or is her focus always on what's missing? Are her expectations grounded in reality, or in fantasy and comparison? If the answers are no pattern of happiness before you, no ownership of her emotions, no gratitude practice, constant comparing and complaining, then understand this: her unhappiness is not a you project. If she refuses to look inward, no amount of effort from you will ever feel like enough. What men must stop doing. You don't control whether she chooses to face her own issues. You do control what you stop doing. Stop taking total responsibility for her mood. Her emotional life is influenced by you, but not created by you. Stop acting like you are the sole source of her happiness or pain. Stop negotiating with chronic dissatisfaction. Occasional complaints in a relationship are normal. A lifestyle of permanent complaint is not. Stop treating that as acceptable. Stop accepting global criticism as truth. You never. You're just like... These are emotional weapons, not accurate assessments. Don't build your life around them. Stop abandoning your own standards. If you would never tell a friend to tolerate what you tolerate, why are you tolerating it? Stop believing that one more sacrifice will finally fix it. It won't. A person who is committed to being unhappy will simply find a new target. What healthy looks like. This is not about hating women, it's about learning to differentiate. A partner who is struggling but willing to do the work. A partner who is addicted to unhappiness and committed to staying there. A woman who is capable of healthy happiness will take responsibility for her own emotional state. Acknowledge when she's being unfair or projecting. Show gratitude and appreciation regularly. Admit when her expectations are unrealistic. Catch herself comparing and correct it. Be capable of saying, "I'm in a bad place right now. This isn't about you." She's not perfect. No one is. But she's self-aware, and she fights her own unhealthy patterns instead of making them your job. That kind of woman is worth investing in, worth walking through storms with. But the woman who never takes responsibility, always finds fault, lives in comparison, uses you as her emotional punching bag, expects you to be therapist, father, priest, and entertainment system, will drag you down with her. Not because she's a woman, because she's a person who refuses to face herself. The decision you eventually have to make. At some point, every man in this situation has to decide, do I keep sacrifice in my sanity to maintain a life where I am constantly on trial? Or do I step back and say, your emotional life is your responsibility, and I won't ruin myself trying to carry it for you? That might mean drawing firmer boundaries, refusing to engage in endless complaint loops, insisting on mutual respect, or if nothing changes over time, walking away, not out of hatred, not out of spite, but out of a simple, hard truth. You are not obligated to destroy your own life to support someone who will not take responsibility for theirs. Her unhappiness existed before you. It will exist after you, unless she decides to confront it. Your job is not to be her mood regulator. Your job is to live as a grounded, self-respecting man who can love, but won't trade his entire identity for the illusion of keeping her happy. Because if she's committed to being unhappy, you'll never succeed anyway. And the sooner you accept that, the sooner you stop bleeding out your energy trying to fix what you did not break.